What are you doing, boss, eh? This is the room where I keep all my extra tools. It's the remains of the ceiling because most of it was hanging down, so I belted the rest down. And the stuff that's got the light and the 12-volt lines are still here. Hang on, bud, I'll get a ladder for you. This is getting ridiculous. Should just put the flaming room light on instead of walking around with the lantern. Hang on, bud, give me a sec. You know, I found an alternative to a heated car seat. The butt warming cat. I was just laying up here doing a bit of computer work, and Kitty decided to jump up and become a butt warmer. Geez, these cats are weird. Alrighty, well, this is this charger. 14.4 to 18 volt. It's got all your standard things, but unlike my other one, no fan, just a solid little lump. Now the other one's 240 watts for one battery, 3 amp hour, to be done in 45 minutes. This one is 130 watts. I have been reading the little manual, and you can do 2 batteries at once, not 4. How it is, it's sort of like, the way it's designed, you got ports 1, 2, 3, 4, or something like that. I think that's the way they count them. There's probably numbers on there somewhere. If you put a battery in 1 and 3, they'll both charge at the same time. And any batteries in 2 and 4 will charge next. So if I fill the whole lot up, 1 and 3 will charge consecutively, like together, and then 2 and 4. If I whack 2 batteries in here, that one will charge fully, and when that's fully charged, then this one starts charging. So what I'm going to have to do is either whack 1 in there, 1 in number 1 and 1 in number 3, or 1 in number 2 and 1 in number 4, and they'll both charge together. Now, 240 watts for a 3 amp hour battery takes 45 minutes for one 3 amp hour battery. This is 130 watts for 2 3 amp hour batteries. It will take 60 minutes. 45 times 2 is 90 minutes to put on 2 individually, or put on 2 together and take 60 minutes, and somehow drop from 240 watts to 130 watts. How the hell can I damn near cut the wattage in half, and instead of charge 2 batteries in 90 minutes, charge 2 batteries in 60 minutes with half the wattage? It's quite interesting how these things happen. From my experience with cordless drills of various kinds, some that are very similar, almost identical, but one will be the cheaper one that doesn't have the hammer drill option and only has a 3.5 amp hour battery. All of a sudden, the slower you charge a battery in a cordless drill, the dramatically more efficient it gets. If you have a 1 hour charger comparative to a 3.5 hour charger, you may drop from a few hundred watts down to some lousy thing like 27 watts or something like that. You'll go from 200 down to, bugger all. You'll drop 1/6, 1/8 the wattage. And when you're talking solar systems, that's pretty worthwhile if you got a small solar system, just to, it's not good if you work on a job and you've got to go flat to the board, but just stuffing around on the weekend, you've got that extra time. So you can wait for things to charge up longer. But with this one, I'm actually waiting less and using slightly more than half the wattage. Unbelievable. So it does pay to shop around, and keep in mind that the slower you charge a cordless drill battery, the more efficient the charger will be, comparative to the same battery of the same amp hours charged up faster, which may not be that much faster, and technically in this case it's actually slower than it otherwise would be. And I really think it's just pushing the cells harder than they want to be pushed. It takes a whole shit ton more energy than pushing them at the rate they would like to be charged at. Alrighty, I've been cutting a bit of boxthorn. Still got a few bits down the paddock I've got to get, but that is about half of it. And here's the other half. And yeah, it went quite alright. All this has been cut with a circular saw. Every little bit of what was cut here. It was a bit of a shitstorm trying to, when you got some of these, you got bits coming off here, there and everywhere in different shapes, and it's a bit of a circus when you get bits that go 90 degrees like this. But if you're a smart enough cookie, you can manage to slice it all with a miter saw, and you get the whole lot done without needing to grab a chainsaw or a reciprocating saw to get any funny stuff. But you just got to know how to attack it. But anyway, that's what we've been up to. The temperature is sort of warming up a bit. Things are starting to wilt a little bit. We've still got the cool nights. Most nights are cool nights, but the days are sort of warming up. And the evaporative coolers that keep the pigs cool are often running at work. And yeah, it's good to finally have a bit of warmth. I'm sick of the cold. Even if it doesn't get very cold in Australia, you still get sick of it anyway. But yeah, the soaking insulation, like that silver paper stuff that I put down under the floor, under the lino that I put on the floor, that's made a hell of a difference. I can't put as many bits of, usually used to pack the fire as full as I could with wood, like the wood heater is what I mean, pack that fuller of as much wood as I could get in there to keep the room warm. And now if I do that, I'm far too hot. You end up sweating, you have to open the door, all because of that insulation underneath the lino. And it's worked out very well. In fact, even after the wood heater goes out, the room will stay well warm for 2 hours, and even after the third hour it's still not warm but not cold either. And that was a very good move. I have got a sprouter and a microgreens kit, which is like a screwed up version of Kratky hydroponic that doesn't sort of, it's to try and give you not sprouts but bigger than sprouts, but then again not full grown either. You're just supposed to get your 2 true leaves, your 2 first proper leaves, and then you have a little harvest. And I'll show that in another video and explain a little bit about how it works and whatnot. And some of the other ideas I have, I once tried to do sprouts and it was a failure, and now I realise it was actually very badly out of date seeds that were far too old. And yeah, I have an idea for copycatting another system I've seen which automates sprouts, but I'll talk about that in that video. Yeah, I may whack in this video a charger, if I get this charger. So the trouble is, my inverter is a commercial grade one, but it's only very small. 200 watts continuously, and you can run 250 watts, but only for half-hour blocks. And then you got to sort of let it cool for, I don't know, 3 hours or 5 hours or some crap. The trouble is it will actually charge my cordless drill battery, but it's 240 watts, so you're 10 watts short of, you know, running it as hard as you can for half an hour, but then it's a 45-minute charge to fully charge it, so it doesn't sort of work that well in that regard. It's got a little fan. I don't know if the Milwaukee's might have this, but I know the Makitas have it. You've got a little, and I think a couple of the Bosches had it, and I have seen a very old DeWalt hammer drill that had it as well. You basically got a little fan that blows through the batteries to keep them cool, and I plugged it all into my system, here, and it charged, but the little fan was taking forever to wind up, and you know it's just barely getting there. And I've seen these ones a number of times they take 4 batteries at once, but they don't have a cooling fan. And I believe they're not like a 45-minute charge or whatever. They're like a 3.5 hour charge. Because this one that takes 4 batteries at once and will charge all 4 at once is only 130 watts. And that would go really well in the solar system. I know I can sort of charge up the batteries when I run the washing machines, but as I was cutting all that boxthorn up with a miter saw, it's tried to charge the batteries, and the charger didn't like it, and it flicked out the residual current device that I've got plugged on between the generator and all the washing machines in case something turns to shit so I don't get electrocuted. Kicked that out a few times. Doesn't like the surge of the blimmin' miter saw kicking in and out or something, I believe. So it'd be a lot better if I could just run it off the solar rig. And if I can get those, because there was a bunch of them there, but now there's only like, last time I was there, when I got the whippersnipper, there was only like 3 of those chargers left. Didn't really see a price on them, but there's not many left. But if I can get one, I will get one tomorrow. And I need to get a couple of other things. I paid me property taxes, so I'm a bit tight for money this week. Freaking hell. Was it $1,670.04? Fair kick in the pants for them to cut down the bin collection service and claim that it maximises benefit to the community. That was their exact words in their little stupid newsletter. How the bloody hell does cutting the bin service maximise benefit to the community? Anyways, I've got to get a couple other things from the shop that don't cost very much at all to show you something else. Not this coming week, but the week after. There's another little thing that I've got plenty of solar power I'm going to try and do. And it will be another bit of a milestone. And yeah, I might try and grow some tomatoes as well. May not. We'll see. Seeds I've got are pretty old. I've got some good ones, but the seeds are old. So I might actually whack them in my sprouter and see if I can sprout them in the sprouter. And if I can, have the potting mix ready to bang them straight in. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I'm going to make a video in a few minutes to do with heating. You guys saw my temp with the heated car seat cover, which worked well. Aside from the fact now that, well, the wood heater's doing just as good a job as it needs to do anyway. And the reality is that it won't be too long and we'll be getting warm nights. But there's a few other bizarre improvised alternatives that I'm going to talk about. And one of these things I may actually use to try and grow sprouts in the winter. And since I've seen what my failing was in growing sprouts before, I think I might be growing them on a regular basis from here on out, because I can get these packets of seeds that are like a kilo each, basically 2.2 pound packs of seeds, from a seed company that are reject seeds that had too low a germination rate to sell for actual planting in your garden, but they're still good enough for sprouts. But you get them for jack shit cost-wise. They don't cost much at all, and because I can get decent sized bags, and you're only throwing about 5 grams, and a kilo is 1,000 grams, then I might be growing sprouts on a more regular basis. I think it would do me a lot of good to have a regular supply of greens that I actually like to eat, not ones that just taste like shit. And then cost me $5 each for a bloody cabbage or something stupid. The cost over here of friggin' vegetables is ridiculous at times. You know, we don't subsidise farming. It's got a lot to do with it. And it's just friggin' corporate greed too has got a lot to do with it as well. You know, I could grow more of a garden, but just over there somewhere, I've got 12 grapevines and I've got 60-something trees in front of the house there. Yeah, by the time you water a dozen grapevines and then 65 for whatever it is trees, and you know, if it's over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, I actually do it twice a day. Once or twice, I've actually done it 3 times a day under real crippling heat. And you know, it takes you so long, and by the time you do that, you don't really want to have to water a garden, you know, of something else, because you've just spent the last bloody 2 hours, or at least an hour and a half out there watering. You sort of get sick of watering things. And you know, there's but I might just do a few tomatoes, we'll see. But yeah, I sort of also need to set up a different rig, and there's different soil types that are better than the one near my house, and then I've still got to set up rigs to run, you know, like irrigation to them. If I had realised it was only $50 for a 12-volt RV style pump ages ago, I probably would have put one to water my trees out here, just to make it a bit easier. But I'm probably only going to water them just for this year, and then that'll be it, sort of thing. And I fail to see why I should really go setting up an entire little solar rig and a water pump and all this shit if I'm only going to use it for, you know, the end of spring and this summer, and then that's it, and that's all it's going to see. It's going to be a bit of a waste of money. But yeah, hopefully before long the cardboard house dries out and we can torch the thing. Oh, I don't think there's a great amount more to say. Someone having to go at me the other day when I said I get free sheep meat. Oh, get real, nothing's free in life, nothing's ever free, you've got to feed the sheep. Yeah, well, I got this stuff called grass, and I think I'm out there buying bags of bloody feed pellets and pouring out to my sheep every day and then saying, oh look, free sheep meat. No, it doesn't work like that, not in this country. We like to be almost self-sufficient in farming, you know. If people feed their sheep any grain, it's usually their own grain that they've grown. Not many places buy feed, except for piggeries and chicken joints. And there's one I know of that doesn't actually buy its own feed. It grows a lot of its own feed. Why pay for something if you can do it yourself? It's just about my motto, that phrase. Anyway, yeah.